Hi, y'all. I'm back. So, how are y'all? I'm going to wait for a few more people to get in the chat before I start. But while I'm waiting for people to get in the chat, I'm going to thank Self Love Online Store. This store is online and it is one of my viewers' online store, and it's Zarin Alaya's Self-Love Online Shop. This is the card she sent with me, and I have all her information below if y'all want to go check her out. She sent me a birthday gift, so I just want to say thank you, girl. Shayla. So I haven't opened it yet, so I'm going to open it real quick while people get in the chat so we can talk about Mars. So, oh, look what she sent me. A Saturn necklace. This is really pretty. Wow. And her shop also sells like waist beads. If you ladies like waist beads for like swimsuit season coming up, or just to wear with a crop top or whatever. Also jewelry and necklaces and things like that. So she sent me these, and it's adjustable. So you can tie it like depending on your waist size. Like, isn't that pretty? So some red waist beads. That's cute. So thank you. And then she also sent me some scrub, magnesium body scrub. I guess she also sells that online too. And then look how she sent me. It's really nice. Okay, so, and then some body butter. So thank you, girl. I need some of this right now in my hands because I'm a little ashy. So thank you. Her business and website is in the description box if y'all want to go check her store out and support her. It smells really good. So, oh, look, I'm so shiny. Thank you. I will be using this definitely. Definitely. Okay. So Mars, why are they trying to get to Mars? Let me tell y'all. Okay, I've got enough people here now. So Mars. Everything is a trick. The more and more you get deeper into the rabbit hole, you find out that everything is a trick and a lie and an illusion of grandeur. And the whole point of the entire illusion is to, I guess, get to the highest position. Okay. So I'm going to go in. So Mars is also associated with, one of your chakras, and which is the solar plexus. Okay. So it's the third chakra. And that's the one that is the yellow color. Okay. In the chakra colors, or yellow orange color. Okay. So, sorry guys, the yellow color. So the third chakra basically rules the solar plexus. The sun and also Mars share the third chakra. So why are they trying to get to Mars? And when I say Mars, I'm going to put it in quotes. Why are they trying to get to Mars? Because there is no way that they can live on the literal planet Mars. So when they keep telling you guys, oh, we're trying to make it to Mars, we're going to go to Mars, Mars. If they went to Mars, they would not make it. They would die. You know what I'm saying? The temperatures, the weather, it would kill them quick, fast, and in a hurry. So there's no way anyone could live on Mars. Okay. So it represents personal power. It represents, I'm going to tell you what Mars represents in the chakra so that you can understand why they want to get to Mars and claim it. So it represents personal acts of courage, doing what makes you happy. It also represents people that are radiates in the sun's essence, as far as the sun part. Mars is the warrior principle that either enjoys shoving others around, responding to life's challenges with inner strength. People that have a lot of courage and express themselves because they don't have any limits on how they express themselves. It also represents this is who I am, take it or leave it, because I'm not changing anytime soon. I don't care what you think type attitude. Um, it also represents where when you shine like the sun, you don't hide your inner radiance. You're going to shine no matter what, no matter how broke, how unhappy, you still going to find a way to shine and do what you want to do and be who you are with no apologies. So, if you understand what I just read to you, you're going to understand why these people want to get to Mars, because symbolically, if you get to Mars, then in someone's mind, if people on a grand scale see that you've gotten to Mars, it represents conquering and colonizing and taking over that solar plexus of humanity and then taking it for themselves. So that's why they want you to think they got to Mars, so that they can take that aspect away from people and give it to themselves. Now, Mars, this describes most Black people on the planet, most brown people on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So that type of attitude and that chakra and that sun and that Mars really describe most of, the Black, melanated, and also brown people on the planet. They want to shine no matter what. They're going to show you who they are no matter what. They don't let circumstance keep them down. They're always at war, either with themselves or everyone around them, but they're still persevering through it. So thank you. Feel and grow rich. Thank you for the donation. So the reason they want to get to Mars is because they want to also be this. It's a metaphor for wanting melanin. It's a metaphor for wanting to have the same type of energy. So if y'all saw that Hennessy 7 Worlds XO commercial, someone told me about it, and I was like, I'm not watching no Hennessy. I'm like, psh. But then it popped up on my thing. See, that's what you get for being closed-minded. But then it popped up anyway, and I watched it, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is saying everything that I've been saying, So I always tell people, keep an open mind, and then there I go. I'm not watching no Hennessy commercial, but I didn't say I wasn't gonna watch it. I'm just like, well, I'll watch it later. It can't be that important. But it was like, whoa, it was like, whoa. So the Martian thing is a metaphor, and I also feel like if they can take it over in your mind, and if they can claim it in your mind, then they can also transfer the power as well, So that's why they were selling the land and property on Mars, so that you could own a piece of Mars, which means you're a Martian, which would make their metaphor even more powerful. So I went ahead and bought me some Martian land. So it's not that expensive. I don't even know if they have that website open anymore, but you can also buy land on the moon as well. See, this is very, very tricky. Like the moon represents what? Femininity, or the woman, or, once you conquer the moon, you would conquer, someone says mother, the woman, and so that's what, like, the patriarchy was in, and then, people were like, oh, fighting for their feminine rights and all that kind of stuff. So the conquering of the moon was something also symbolic in your mind. So many people believe that they went to the moon, but so many people didn't as well, which is why there's still that gender war, or, women fighting. You know what I'm saying? So half the people say, "Oh, y'all did that in movie studio." Half the people say the moon ain't real. Half the people say y'all never got to the moon. Half the people think they got to the moon. So that's why there's still that open discussion there. So for all of you guys, just understand they can't get to Mars ever. Um, and also, if you want to help um, change the narrative, you could buy land on Mars through the website or whatever, or you can just make videos debunking it. Either way, doesn't matter. So, not not understanding this whole space program, and look who put money into the space program, and look what he's doing. Donald Trump said he's going to put more money to the space program. And what is Donald Trump doing? Saying whatever he wants to say, being unapologetic, being like a Martian. Okay. Um, so when you really think about it, um, having power, being unapologetic for who you are, shining no matter what, being you with no apologies. I already said that. And then look what color he is. He's orange and his hair is yellow. Okay. So he's also interested in the whole space program and supporting the Mars stuff and all this blah, 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 blah. But the whole point behind his behavior as well is, that's a challenge. That's the challenge to for us to recognize what actually is going on. Who's trying to steal the throne? You know what I'm saying? So if people really believe people are getting to Mars, then it's going to get a little. I don't even think people believe that, but thank goodness. But that's what they were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So just understand, no one's getting to Mars. They have made movies about it, documentaries about it, spent billions of dollars on rockets, thinking that they're going to get you to believe that they're going to make it there. Still didn't work. Okay. So just remember, it's not going to happen. No matter how many rockets people build, no matter how many billions of dollars people put into the space industry, no matter what, it's not going to happen. So just remember that. The laws of physics, the laws of nature, and the laws of the universe are all against it. So if all of that is against it, then it's not possible. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's not possible on that level of reality, not on their level of reality. There you go. In that consciousness, it's not going to happen. Okay. Distractions, right. So, orange and tan, that's right. Just like Mars, right? Okay, so when you think about it, now that it didn't work because not enough people believe it, now that it didn't work, what's the next plan, right? Now you see all this generosity since the Martian plan didn't work. Okay, so what is all this generosity about? Like, why are people being super generous? Now they're trying to influence the fourth chakra, which is the heart. And if you ever realize, if you ever look at a picture of Jesus, you'll always see that his heart has like thorns around it. You know what I'm saying? So his heart has like thorns around it, and now they're trying to portray, okay, people that have suffered emotional hurts, woundings, tend to block their fourth chakras. and they're afraid to make themselves vulnerable. This is a deliberate act of creating an emotional wall, as in method of self-protection. So this is a form of protection. So, um, if people see a group of people being very bad or very mean, and then all of a sudden very generous, then in their subconscious mind, they may say, well, they had a good heart. Maybe they were just afraid. It's almost like a transmutation of, what they were trying to protect. So another thing is the fulcrum, swinging back and forth. The heart is your ability to love and being able to receive and listen and be self-aware and be in balance and mm, expressions of love, the reward you're going to get for your actions. So it's based on a reward system. And how to strengthen your fourth chakra would be to experience great pain and sorrow, who's able to also have compassion for those who are suffering. So a closed heart chakra is from too much self-absorption, too much self-focus, and too much self-pity. Getting involved with others, volunteering, social organizations, charity, helps you to become aware of your vibrations and magnetism, and also increases your frequency. That is, you're going to start to see synchronicities once your frequency starts to rise after your heart chakra has been opened. So now, the only way to raise their vibration is to raise their, to strengthen their heart chakra. Now that's why everything is love. Let me give you some money. And Bill Gates paying off the debt for Nigeria, this and that. So in order to, since Mars is now out of the picture, now they have to do the heart chakra exercise, since that didn't work. But look what they tried first, though. You gotta open your mind. What did they try first? That's why I talk about reparations. But what did they try first? That you got to understand, when you try, when you try something first, that is your truth. The first thing you do is your truth. So, and it wasn't happening simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? I can understand if half the people were doing what's right and the other half was doing what's wrong, then you couldn't lump it all in one sum. But you didn't see that. You saw the Mars thing for many years and a lot of issues. Then when that didn't work, then you saw all this charity come in all of a sudden. And no more Mars talk. So, side eye. And now you see all the stores closing. And I see a lot of stores closing to make room for new stores, new competition, new products, new owners, new business owners. So, right, exactly. People of color will own more stores. So they have to get rid of a lot of the chain stores and just leave a few to make room for a new chain. You know what I'm saying? So since the Mars thing didn't work, since taking our place didn't work, now they want to raise their vibration so that we see them as a higher vibrating person, but with favor, because That's the only thing that was left, actually. But I'm still like, why didn't y'all try that first? You know what I'm saying? Um, well, I'm doing this to you. What? Payless closed. Uh-huh. A lot of Victoria's Secret stores closed. Sears closed. A lot of Walmart stores closed. I know Toys R Us closed. A lot of those stores. And so Charlotte Russ, right. So we'll probably see some more businesses come out. Um, I tried to listen to Solange's album. I was driving, so I have to wait till later because I didn't want to fall asleep. Oh God. I'll have to watch that when I'm sitting down with some coffee or listen to it. Yeah. I like music. I like fast music. I can't do all that slow stuff. I would go to sleep. I need some excitement, you know. Um, so I hadn't listened to the whole thing yet. I only heard a few songs and they were too slow for me. But I'll try to listen to it later. Mhm. Okay, so now that Mars is gone and out of the way, um, if the heart chakra doesn't work, like, you know, and you know what I really feel, like what I honestly truly feel, and what most people are probably going to feel is it's too late. Thank you, but you know, it's just kind of like your last resort. You know what I'm saying? So someone says thank you next. Yeah, Ariana Grande. And you know, a couple of years ago, what were we watching on the television? People getting beat, shot, marching. You know, now it's oh here reparations here. Um, open your business here. You know, I'll pay off your debts here. You know, whatever. It's now you know it's kind of like trying to buy someone's love. It may work for some people, but you know, for other people, they'll take it, but they're gonna have a side eye. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's a side eye. I'm gonna take it anyway, but I'm gonna have a side eye. But the whole point is, it's really over. The whole point is, when you see a large group of fashion designers, billionaires, scientists, politicians all kind of go into the same direction at the same time, you know it's a part of an agenda. So you have to kind of open your eyes and try to look and research what that agenda is. There's a lot of them. And to me, that agenda was, you know, oh, let's try to beat them at beat them or get that mindset of being Martian, um, so that we can mentally, subconsciously trick people. We'll see since that didn't work. Now it's going through the heart chakra, which 5G. Now let's get into 5G and that heart chakra. 5G is also going to emit low frequencies, and so that locks down certain people's heart chakra. It can't rise. It can't get to the point that it needs to get to ascend to the next level of consciousness or, um, you know, gifts that you're supposed to be receiving during shifts. So once that heart chakra is locked down, anything below, anything above the heart chakra can't really get activated to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the song Kanye wrote, Love Lockdown, was about. And if you listen to that song, there's this really low bass in that song, and you feel it right in your chest. But the difference is that low bass is like representing the low frequency, you see. Um, the throat and the third eye, lotus. Oh, okay, y'all are talking amongst each other. So that song, if you think people thought that was about a woman, it's not about a woman. Go back and listen to it and read the lyrics. It's called Love Lockdown. Um, and since the heart chakra is locked down, um, that's why you see everywhere love, love each other, da 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 da. They're trying to raise it up on a consciousness instead of to raise it naturally. But the 5G is going to keep it at a certain level. So it's kind of like a battle of in the consciousness and and spirituality and waves, technology, frequency. It's all done on a different level this time, you know. So, right. They're kind of done trying to raise back their heart chakra when they used the teacher of heart chakra, Yeshua, for slaughter. And yeah. So, when how they have the picture of Jesus and he has crown of thorns around his heart and there's fire on it. Let me see if I can find a photo. Because this is going to show you something right here. Let's see. Wow, there's so many versions. I don't know which one to get. Darn it. Well, here's one. So, to me, like there's roses, there's lilies there, there's a vial that's trying to collect the blood in the rose vase, and there's grapes. So to me, um, and then there's fire burning the cross, and then there's thorns. And I think they said this thorn was nettle thorns or something like that. And um, then there's a hole or a stab wound in the heart. And so I would say, and then there's clouds around it. So, and it's kind of glowing. I would say this is keeping the love locked down, which is why the blood is dripping. And the roses represent the highest form of vibration. Um, the grapes represent the alchemy of turning water into wine, turning a clear substance into a wine colored substance, and also represents the wine at the Last Supper. Then you have the Easter lilies, which represent death and resurrection. Um, and so you have the heart is stabbed on the right side, which is the right eye, which is the right side of the brain, which is the feminine side. Then you have the thorns right above it, and then the cross on fire. So the cross on fire would represent the burning of this whole thing. But below, these are all the representations of the higher vibrating, melanated people that need to be resurrected. And so the blood has to drop down, but cannot ascend, and then it's on fire. So that's kind of what that means. hmm And see, on some of the picture, he's holding it in his hand. Okay. That looks like side eye right there. Hmm. So if you know symbology, this means Jesus never rose. If you believe in Jesus, it means he never ascended. Okay. But he stayed behind to help the rest. And who does that sound like? Who's the yeah, who's the person that stayed behind because they loved mankind and wanted to help humanity? Hmm. That means yep, he went to France. Hmm. Thoth, Hermes, fallen angels, Inky, Lucifer. Someone says black people, Osiris, and Jesus. Okay. So a lot of people really feel like Jesus went to heaven, but that was what the whole movie, The Da Vinci Code, was about. He didn't ascend, he's still here. That's why Kanye made the song Jesus Walks. That means he's not in the heavens, he's on the ground walking. So it's a big fact though. And so that represents what I was talking about in my last video about how all these Jesus, Archangel Michael, Lucifer, Inky, Hermes, Osiris, Thoth, a bunch of others, Rini, they're all the same character in different forms. They have different jobs. They're all the same character in different forms. So it's kind of like someone who has a lot of jobs and they have to change their uniform when they go to this job. Then they have to go change their uniform when they go to the next job. And they all have this job may counteract this job, but they're still part of their aspect. Yeah. So it's kind of like you working for an environmental company that's trying to save the earth, but then your other job is working at a gas station. You see? Um, or, something like that, a plastic factory. So, yeah. So also I explained it of having multiple personalities as well. Um, but the whole thing is to help help people to get to the level where they all can ascend at the same time. Because that's if you think about it, that's what most villages in Africa, in native tribes did. They would all think about them first, family first, tribe first, whatever, whatever. So they how they always talk about, well, it's lonely at the top. I don't want to go if my family can't go. If someone offered you $1 billion and said you can't bring your family, would you still take it? You know, the love for humanity is what kept those beings or that being here to help. And somewhere along the line, that energy got a bad rap and a bad name because of all the different roles it had to play in order to push you to the next level. You know, so sometimes anger pushes you to the next level so that you don't have to deal with that anger anymore. You know, sometimes fire burns you so that you don't touch it again, or that you stay away from it, or that so you don't make the same mistake again. So, and it also represents a way to make you greater so that you can become your highest self. You know, isn't humanity the trap? No, because you can't get to godhood unless you go through humanity. You see? So You can't become a god or a goddess unless you are a human first. Mhm. Just like you can't become an adult unless you're a baby. You have to go through that whole you have to go through the entire growth mentally, spiritually, physically. Uh-huh. School of life, exactly. So, um, but also there are challenges and things to get you off the path and things to get you to not fully be aware of the reason you're here and to stunt your spiritual ascension, I'll call it, or dissension. Um, because most people that have descended all the way down, there's nowhere else left to go, so you have to ascend. There's nowhere else left to go if there after you've descended all the way. That's why in the Emerald Tablets, when Thoth descended into the inside the earth into the halls of Amenti, he was there. He was, looking around, talking to the lords of Amenti, and he was like, "Okay, well, I'm a child of the sun, and I can't go over there because I ain't gonna, that's not gonna work for me. And so, the only thing left for me to do is ascend." And one of the dark lords of Amenti said, "Well, I'll let you ascend back up to the earth, but you got to teach these people." So he's like, "Okay." So that's what happened. Hmm. And when when all these things come out, like you see all these symbolisms coming out, it's all mental and it's real on a certain level of consciousness. Like when I was a child, I would see stuff that was so real to me. And I swear, if someone didn't tell me that it wasn't real when I got older, I would have still thought these things were true. You ever had that experience? So, like when I was a kid, I believed that my refrigerator was a portal somewhere else. Um, even in my dreams, I would be inside of a refrigerator going to somewhere else. And then I was thinking, what the heck? What when I got older, I decoded it. What is a refrigerator? I would sit in my real refrigerator thinking I'm going somewhere. What is a refrigerator? It's an electromagnetic box with temperature gauges. It's a vortex. It's literally a vortex if you tamper with some of the settings. So in my mind, I knew the formula for a vortex. The refrigerator is made out of some of them have lead and that there's a magnetic pool. That's why you can stick magnets on it. Then the temperature inside is cold. There's a light in there. It runs from electricity, so it's an electromagnetic uh, vortex or door. I'm like, what? So I think that's why when I astral traveled, I would use the refrigerator because it represented scientifically a vortex. So, sometimes when people have weird dreams and they say, "Why was I in a refrigerator?" You really, really got to sit and think and sit with that. Sometimes it takes years because you're not studying, you know, metaphysics, electromagnetic, energy or nothing. But then it all clicks when it's time. So, sorry. So, yeah, it's all mental. And that's why it's very important to be careful what you believe without doing your research because most people really believe that people were going to actually get to go to Mars until they researched its 7,000 degrees. Okay. So how are you going to get on Mars at 7,000 degrees? I'm just trying to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? So There is no way a human person can live there in a human body at 7,000. It might even be more than that. I I might not even have that number right, but I know it's super high that no human could be on there. Okay. So it has to be something else. It has to be something else. Yeah. What if 7,000 degrees was the lie? Well, if you look, I don't, you can't even think that the pictures are the truth either anymore. You know what I'm saying? They have pictures of Mars. What if those pictures are a lie too? You know. So the whole point is now why do they want to get to Mars all of a sudden? That's where you can figure out which one is the lie and which one is the truth. Why all of a sudden now Mars is so important? Mhm. So, right. If it was that important and they knew this stuff many, 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 many years ago, centuries ago, they would have already been trying to work on that um, since way back then. So I don't. NASA is more like nah, sis, right? So don't be fooled by any of the space stuff that you're seeing. Don't even be fooled because it's a trick of your mind, and it's really a battle to rule over you. It's a battle to rule over you or to take your place. It's a battle of the birthrights once again. So you have to understand and not get sucked back into it. The people that help others to see in darkness, that's also like a refrigerator. There's a light in the refrigerator. You open it up, you can see all the good food that you can eat, all this and that. And it's also a vortex and a portal to a different level of consciousness. So, you got the light, you got the cold, and then you have the electromagnetic frequency. That's what the earth is right now. It's cold while the sun is bright in some areas. There's a freezer in some areas. The electromagnetic frequency and all that kind of stuff is, not how it used to be. So the refrigerator is breaking down, baby. When the refrigerator breaks and that freezer breaks and stuff starts melting or it starts freezing in the refrigerator because you got the temperatures all messed up and now your lettuce is frozen. The earth is like a giant refrigerator. And since that electromagnetic field around it is no longer conducting the electricity properly, it's causing the entire refrigerator to dysfunction. Okay. And so the only way to get that back in order is to get the settings correctly, put it back on the original settings that you had messed up. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on. And okay, you looked up the degrees in Mars. It's not 7,000. Okay, what is it? Because I knew it was a big number. Thank you, Shafonda, for the donation. I'm so grateful for that. Let me look up temp on Mars. Temp on Mars. Okay. Mhm. 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 I think that's a lie. Mhm. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. So this way it's they don't know the temperature because they can't get there. What would the temperature be like on a desert with no vegetation or clouds? I don't know. What do you think? Um, Thank you. But anyway, it's not going to be that. I got terrible sunburn this weekend. Oh, where was the sun at? Because it sure wasn't out here. I told you all them UVB rays ain't no joke anymore. Your ozone is gone. I'm sorry you got burnt, but the ozone is gone. They have firestorms. Oh yeah, that sounds like a nice environment to live. Thank you, Yanaki L. Love your channel. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, Atlanta's cold and gloomy. New Orleans, Mardi Gras. See, the refrigerator temperature is off on the planet. It has to be reset back to its original settings, which is why the ozone is coming off. Right. There's proof they've never been to the moon. Exactly. So how can you take a temperature somewhere where you've never been? Side eye. Now, I'm not one of those conspiracy theorists that jump on a bandwagon. But if you literally study science and not read what they wrote, but study science for yourself, don't read their articles, but study the laws of physics and the laws of the universe and electromagnetism, you will come to your own truth, which is not going to be the same as theirs. I promise you. Okay. And that's what you have to keep in mind, because remember, most of the stuff that they teach you is false. If y'all haven't realized that by now, it's not real. So it's a play on your consciousness. So once you realize that, you can stop buying into their fantasy. Remember when we talked about the archons and they can influence you to think certain things and to create certain things because they cannot create that in their mind, which if you can't see it, then you can't do it, like R. Kelly says. Then you're not going to be able to create it. We can create things that come into reality. So if they have you thinking, oh, we can go to the moon, we can go to the planet Mars, then that's what we're going to create. And then one day, you look up, then things are going to be a lot different because of what you believed instead of what you researched. You know how they say knowledge is power, or my people die due to a lack of knowledge. Right. So, you have a device that you carry with you everywhere that is full of knowledge, but many people choose to read the garbage on it, instead of the knowledge. So it's the double-edged sword once again. The double-edged sword, you have distractions on here as well as knowledge. Which will you choose? So I choose, like, if you go and look at my history, it's all articles. It ain't no Netflix. It ain't no half-naked people. It's not a bunch of videos with makeup, whether you believe it or not. It's, look at this. It's all research. Okay. It's all research. Look at that. Ain't no Instagram. I mean, I do go on there sometimes, but this is what I do most of my time because it's right at my fingertips. So why wouldn't I do it? I'm deleting it now because I don't need it, but because I'll do more later. But that's what you're supposed to be doing, not that other crap, not World Star. Okay, not R. Kelly interview, none of that. You're supposed to be researching how to become your higher self. You're supposed to be researching things so that you understand the tricks that are being played on you so that you can avoid them. You see, you're supposed to be studying how you can teach other people this information so that they don't fall victim to it and accidentally create something that shouldn't have been. You see? So That's what y'all need to be doing. How people say, "Oh, go to church once a week, and that's all you got to do." Your spirituality should be your thirst and quest for knowledge. That is a form of spirituality, not not lighting some incense and chanting, but enhancing your mind, learning um, how to rise higher, and all the things that are going to try to distract you or fool you along the way. When you're on a journey, what do? When you're getting ready to go travel to a foreign country or travel somewhere you've never been, what do you do? Do you just go watch World Star and Instagram and YouTube, or do you read the laws of those countries, read what's allowed, what's not, how people will try to scam you if da da da, the safety precautions and all? Yeah, preparation, exactly. So if you're not going anywhere, you don't really need to prepare for anything. You just need to be happy where you are. But if you are going somewhere, rising to your higher self, you're going to need to prepare, understand the scams along the way, and understand how to avoid them so that you can make it to where you're going on your journey. Okay. So that's why it's very important, because most people don't take it seriously. They don't take it as seriously, but just as serious as it is, it's also entertaining, because when you learn these things, you see entertainment, the mundane entertainment that you used to just pay attention to the beat and the clothes on the videos. Now you can read the entire video for knowledge. So now your frivolous activity becomes one with your research, and that is one of the levels of consciousness that you will reach once you start doing the work or the research. So my research consists of watching videos, music videos, rap videos, because I can decode them. So the pleasure now becomes the the work. So, but before you can get the pleasure, before you can release your heart chakra, you got to do the work. That's the only way to release it. That's the only way to raise your frequency, is to love what you're doing for the right reason only. That's why in that movie Harry Potter, no one could look in that mirror and see the secret unless they had the correct reason, which was love. You see? So that's how you break through that crown of thorns on your heart chakra, doing things for the correct reason. Now, all these charities and Bill Gates giving money here and people doing stuff there, that's for the wrong reason. So it's still not going to work, but thank you. You see, everything people do for the wrong reason is going to go against them eventually. Eventually, you know. It's probably going to take a whole new generation to start doing things for the right reason. If you're not doing something for the right reason, I don't want it. Like when someone gives you something and you don't want to take it because you know some strings attached, or because they want to look good in front of somebody, or there's something for them to gain in return, you don't take it. I don't, you'll take it, but then when they come back to say, okay, now where's my reward? I'm like, this was a gift, just like they do on TV in court. This was a gift. We don't have no contract. See? So just like when you get engaged and you get that ring, and you find out that's not the man you want to marry because of something he did, you don't give that ring back. That was a gift. Okay. So sorry, y'all, I'm keeping a ring. But y'all get what I'm saying. The gift is not a gift if it was given out of the wrong reason. So thank you, Will. Okay. Um, there was many chances to give for the right reason. There was many opportunities that presented itself throughout history to give for the right reason. Many, many, many times over. And Yeah, there you go. So what's going to be the next ploy? You see how it keeps getting lower? They're trying to rise, but they're not going to make it past that heart chakra. That's where it gets cut off. It's over. There's nowhere to go but back down unless, well, they should have just done it in the first place to give, out for the right reason. Um, mhm. I always give with no strings attached. Me too. If I give you something I don't want it back, keep it. Don't pay me back. I don't care. That's yours. Because if I need it back, I will never give it out. You know what I mean? If I need it that bad, you're not getting it. That's for sure. Because I don't really trust too many people, so I'm not going to trust them to pay me back ever. So if I give it to you, it's yours. If you want to pay me back out of the kindness of your heart without me even asking or mentioning it, then that's a gift as well. And don't take it as payback. I take it as a gift. So that's how gift giving works as far as giving for the right, correct reason. Hmm. I'm trying to look up that chakra website again because I lost it. I was deleting all my good. Okay, here it is. I was deleting all my good stuff. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so they were at the third chakra. Okay, I'm gonna blow it up. They were at the third chakra, was trying to go to Mars and to the sun. Didn't work, so they had to go back down to the heart chakra. See? So what's next? What's blue? What's the fifth chakra? Mercury and Jupiter. What's that? Let's go see. um, third chakra, fourth chakra, which is the heart. Fifth chakra. Okay, Jupiter and Mercury are the co-rulers of this chakra. People with this chakra open are very persuasive and charismatic socially, and they can be great orators, teachers, speakers, writers. They have the natural ability to sense what people are thinking and can put it into words. How many times have you listened to someone and later on realized they were able to put into words the ideas that you've only been able to think about? When this chakra functions, you are able to speak your personal truth with conviction. This is once you're able to speak your own truth that you are able to create your own reality through the powers of the word. Oh, apologizing, reparations. Thank you, JML. Hey, Shira, don't have anything to say. Just want to say thank you. Hoping you go live today. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. So this is when the truth is going to be revealed. So the power of the word will create your own reality through the power of your words. I am strong, powerful, wealthy, loving, da da da. If you really want to know how to strengthen this chakra, pay attention to all the thoughts that you don't express. How often do you bite your tongue? Learn that it is okay to speak your mind. Most people do not speak their truth because they don't want to appear foolish. At this chakra, you are able to speak words and come directly from the heart and spirit. And most people may lack the courage or conviction to express their innermost beliefs. For instance, in writing an entire website, I have sat at my computer, quieted my mind, and allowed the words to simply just flow out of me. Okay, so this is going even lower. So now they're going to have to admit all the things that they've done. And they got to go all the way to the bottom. They have to descend before they can rise. So that's going to be next. And remember, hold your tongue. Exactly. So the apologies are going to come next. The we were wrong. We did all this crap. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Here's some reparations or some whatever. And so the sixth chakra, what's next? That's rising, but then they would have to go lower. So that would be if they had gotten past the heart chakra. The apologies would have come, but they haven't come yet. Sorry, I said lower, but that was higher. I'm so sorry. Um, Excuse me. I was looking at this in reverse. So the lower chakra would be change or transform. Um, So they would have to transform for survival needs to be met. That's the second chakra, which is Pluto. So that's also what that Hennessy commercial was saying, like change. So since they tried the reparation things, but then Bernie said no, they tried to rise higher. They tried it, didn't work. So what are they going to try next? See, I think they keep trying in fakeness, and so after they try all the fake ways to rise, they're not gonna be able to do it. So they're gonna have to go right back down. So they're gonna try all these things in order to see if it works, and then when it doesn't work, then they have to go all the way back down to start over from scratch. So, mhm. So since they didn't make it past Jupiter and Mercury or the heart chakra, they didn't, no apologies, doing things for the wrong reason, um, didn't get to Mars. So let's see what they'll have to descend back to the second chakra, which represents the change and the transformation, and also mm, limited by five senses. That means they're no longer going to have that extra connection or that magic, that ability to be as intuitive, So it's less knowing, less connection, less creativity, less um, things like that. It also represents um, mm, having a lot of energy that can't really be expressed in a creative manner, and less, yeah, addictions and all this kind of stuff. Um, Okay, so that's that second chakra, which is Pluto. Okay. Not true why you think black people are fighting black people every day. They come in deception. But so then the first chakra is Saturn. Okay. And it says this represents the foundation, the bones, the security and structure. Um, it represents Western culture. This is a common problem among Western culture, a dog eat dog world. Um, Nervousness, anxiety, conditions that result from not feeling grounded, psychological issues. So that sounds like what's going to happen with the 5G or like that bird box thing. Um, so a lot of these chakras are now out of balance for certain people due to the change of the temperature settings in the refrigerator. Okay. So, or the earth, we'll say the earth. So now all their chakras are off balanced and they're trying to figure it out, but they can't get past that heart chakra because it's for the wrong reason. So the love is locked down literally by 5G, messing up all those chakra centers because chakras work on electromagnetic frequency. So go listen to the song Kanye West called Love Lockdown. Tells you everything in those just in those lyrics. Um, I keep your love locked down, your love locked down. You lose, you lose. I'm not so um will chakra meditation help? Not as long as there's 5G around. because that's what it's doing. It's creating an environment to disrupt your electromagnetic frequency. And so when that happens, it's not going you can't fix it without either taking that away or getting out of the environment. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I'm trying to look up these lyrics so I can show you what I'm talking about. I think if you yeah. Okay, so if y'all ever wanted to know the lyrics, it says, I'm not loving you the way I wanted to. What I had to do had to run from you. That's talking about colonization. You can't go anywhere in the world where, white people hadn't tried to colonize, okay? Um, I'm in love with you, but the vibe is wrong. Okay, I love you, but your vibration is all off. Your chakras is off. You ain't doing stuff for the right reason. Okay. Um, and that haunted me all the way home. Okay. I was on my way home and it was bothering me that y'all are doing everything for the wrong reason and I'm leaving all these people behind, but I gotta go back. So you never know, never know, never know enough till it's over. Love. So this means the knowledge is going to be kept until it's time to be revealed, and you'll never know till it's already been said and done. Basically, I told you he was. He told you he was a genius. Okay, till we lose control, system overload. Um, Screaming, no, no, no. Okay, so till we lose control, system overload. That represents till we've had enough and yelled out, no, 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 this ain't gonna work. Till people got mad, till those emotions rose up in a frequency. I'm not loving you the way I wanted to. See, I want to move, but I can't escape from you. So I keep it low, keep a secret code. So everybody else don't have to know. So this means there was a plan made in order to escape, and it's been kept secret so that no one has to know. Then it says, so hold on. Then it says, so keep your love locked down. Your love locked down. Keeping your love locked down. Your love locked down. Okay, so basically it just repeats love locked down. It says, I'm not loving you the way I wanted to. I can't keep my cool. Refrigerator. Temperature. I told y'all. I can't keep my cool. I can't keep my temperature right. So I keep it true. I got something to lose, to loose. I have something to loose or to lose. So I gotta move. That's the shift right there. That's the climate change and the shift right there. Right. Um, I can't keep myself and still keep you too. Sasha would say. So I keep in mind when I'm on my own, somewhere far from home in the danger zone. So he keeping this in mind, like, okay, well, keep this in mind in the back of his mind. Okay, so many times did I take till I finally got through. You lose, you lose. Okay, so many times did it take till I finally got through to y'all, till I finally opened your eyes, till I finally woke y'all up to understand that you're gonna lose. That's why they're scrambling to get to Mars, to give all this money, to close all these stores, to save the earth and be conscious. Now it says, okay, then it says, you lose, you lose. I'm not loving you the way I wanted to. See, I had to go, had to move. No more wasting time. You can't wait for life. We're just wasting time. Where's the finish line? So he's ready to go. He's like, okay, where's the finish line? I'm ready to end it now, you know. So ready to end it now. So keep your love locked down, blah, 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 blah. I'm not loving you the way I wanted to. I bet no one knew. I got no one new. No, I said I'm through. But got love for you, but I'm not loving you the way I wanted to. Gotta keep it going, keep it loving, keep it going, keep it on a roll. Oh, only God knows. If I'll be with you, baby, I'm confused. You choose, you choose. I'm not loving you the way I wanted to, way I want to go. I don't need you. But down this road too many times before. Oh, been down this road too many times before. I'm not loving you the way I wanted to. So I'll keep your love locked down. So when he says you choose, he's talking about the you choose if you want to be one of us. Like if you want to mix the race, there's that only option that you're given. So then he went on, to lead by example by marrying Kim K is an option. So um, right. So that was the only option. You choose, you choose. You know, that's it. So that's an old song, right? That song is, I don't even know when that was written. How many years ago? Pretty old. Okay. So 2008. Wow. He already knew. Like, right. And he's always talking about MJ too. MJ was his idol. So that's what his name is Ye. Right. And that's the whole thing wrapped up in a song. hmm And it kind of goes into what I was telling you guys about the heart chakra. Um, okay, so let me go into that. If I do something nice, it's for the right reason because I won't even do it at all. Okay, I'm just gonna tell y'all. I'm the type of person that don't care what people think about me, but when I want to do something nice, when I want to give, I'll give wholeheartedly and with nothing expected in return. That's the only way I give. The only way. Now I'll ask for stuff. But when it comes to free will and giving, I only give for the right reason and no other reason. You know what I'm saying? So even though I can be a different way when I choose to be, the only way that I ever give is for the right reason because for some reason, I don't like waiting around. I don't like strings. I don't like tricks being pulled on me because I don't like expecting someone to do something right because I did something for them. I don't like taking away people's free will, you see. So it's a form of taking away someone's free will in a sneaky way when you give for the wrong reason. That's why some people don't like to take stuff from people because they know there's strings attached. That's why when someone says, "Oh, I have a free offer and a free this," you don't take it because you know you're going to have to sit there for 3 hours and listen to some stupid crap, and they just took your time. You know, so when you know someone's giving for the wrong reason, you don't take it, and when you take it, that's almost the equivalent of selling your soul. You see, just like in the record contracts, record label contracts or music contracts. Like if y'all saw when I posted about Kanye being locked into a contract that he has to work until he's like dead, it's basically the same thing. He's trying to get out of it. But he probably either A, didn't read the small print, B, already knew how to get out of it and was tricking them himself, which is what he did. But he wanted to also let people know that this can happen to you too. So he had to do it to teach you through example, you know. Um, and so when you sign a contract, And it's locking you into something like, or when you sell your soul, basically, through a contract, you have to already know how to get out of it before you sign it. If you don't know how to get out of that contract before you sign it, you're stupid. If you don't know a loophole to get out of that contract, don't sign it. So what this he did, what Michael and Prince did, or he's gonna do, I really feel like he's trying to show the world. But Michael and Prince also had these type of contracts, and people after them for their masters, So they were not going to stop ever, ever. Okay. So Michael owned half of Sony, which means he owned half the artists' catalogs that were signed with Sony Records. Most of the country singers, Taylor Swift, Eminem, like a bunch of people, like major people, a bunch of rappers too. So he owned all of their catalog, all their masters. Michael owned a lot of money. Okay. He owned the Beatles. He owned a lot of Elvis's music. He owned just so much music, right? That doesn't even count towards how much he earned. That's just what he had sitting around. So the money and half of Sony, the ownership went to his estate. And then Sony tried to buy back some of their artists. So $750 million deal with Sony went to the estate, but they didn't sell all of the masters, you see. So now they're after all the masters, because if you can control the music, you can control the people, you see. Music is sound. Words are spells. Michael dropped much knowledge in that lifespan of music. That's why now you see them pulling it from the radio or whatever, because those words are very powerful at this time in particular, because you're waking up. Okay. And if you listen carefully, there's instruction. There's information that you need. There's stuff that's going to raise your frequency in those songs now that you're aware of it, now that you're on this level of thinking. So now they're trying to pull it and make you stop listening to that. Okay, so you got to understand there's sneaky ways to wage war. There's sneaky ways to battle people's minds and consciousness, and this is one of them. That's why I'm telling you guys, don't even buy into it. Listen to the music even more, because it's going to give you what you need. I promise you. Okay, because that's how I got my information, majority of it. I'm not even gonna lie. I always tell people Michael Jackson is my guru, because it truly is. If you've been listening to something since you were like 2 or 3 years old, it's in your subconscious mind. You're going to unlock stuff that when you hear something, it's going to resonate true, because you've heard it so many times. You've heard it in music. You've heard it to a beat. You've heard it to a frequency. It's true. It's happening. You see it and you feel it, and you rise higher and vibrate higher. So when somebody is trying to pull down the most famous person that ever lived in modern history, the most famous person that ever lived, the most famous person that no one could top, that person is great, the greatest. So if that person is the absolute greatest version of a musician and an alchemist on the planet, why would you cut off the music when it's probably your medicine? They're cutting that lifeline. And most of the people that are affected by it probably understand that his music has a lot of power, and information in it. But it's also doing something good too. It's also separating the type of people that are not supposed to rise. It's also separating people that don't know his message. People that are like, well, I don't know what his music really means anyway. It's kind of stupid, so I can give it up. it's not that much to me, or I don't really care anymore because his music's old. It's separating the wheat from the tare. So if you understand how valuable that music is, that artist and that person's greatness, and no one else could top him, and he beat the record company at their own game, that means you can't go out, they can't go out like that, like they've been punked basically. So even after death, and I'm going to put it in quotes, even after death, they're still trying to battle. They've already lost. You lose, you lose. Okay. There's no way they can make him guilty if he's already been found innocent in the court of law. So the only thing that they can do is mess with your mind and keep you from learning and vibrating on the frequency if you listen to that music in particular. So um that's just some facts to keep in your mind. And there's some people that don't even know what's going on. They don't even look at the sky. They don't care about ascension. They don't care about spirituality. They just go to work, eat their little 30-minute lunch, go home, watch reality TV, you know go drink something, smoke something, and go to bed and do it all again, like rats in a cage. So those people, we don't care. Those people would not care. They don't care. Some do, some don't. But those people are not really trying to rise anyway. So yeah, you lose, you lose. I'm trying to look at these lyrics again. Okay, right. Yep, the danger zone. Somewhere far from home, in the danger zone. How many times did it take till I finally got through? You lose, you lose. Okay, so to me, that represents how many times it's going to take for you to get the message. How many times it's going to take for you to get the message? Finally, I got through. You lose, you lose. So that means people are going to wake up, and people are going to be suspicious as to why these crazy stories and documentaries are coming out now. They're not buying it. Most people aren't buying it. And the people that are buying it are probably those people that are not really in the know, or if they are in the know, they're trying to make it even a bigger topic so that people can figure it out as well. So whatever role that they're playing, it's to get people's attention on these lyrics and songs and these artists. Okay. Um, right. When I see all those YouTube uploads news about MJ, I knew something was major. Yeah. And they're trying to get a lot of the influential people to go one way or the other so that you can, feel something, or so they can separate the wheat from the tare, so they can take away your knowledge or that vibration or that message in that music. So I'm not like, I don't trust people anyway. So I'm always going to roll with what I know is good for me. You know what I'm saying? I know what's good for me. So that's the direction I'm going. Mhm. Exactly. Can't leave Earth. Outer space is a hoax. I agree. It's not a hoax for everyone. It's a hoax for the human body to go, but not this. Yeah. So, man, I don't even know what's my favorite whole song. um, do you remember the time exactly? So when I see two dudes up, talking about the greatest entertainer that ever lived and trying to take his fame away, I'm not listening to that ever. That's stupid. Like, I don't relate to them at all. We don't live in the same world. We don't have the same problems. So I'm sorry. I don't care. Um, there is a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. He was trying to tell them back then. They wasn't listening. Thank you. Make a better place for you and me. For you and me. That means for you and me. We can share. Y'all don't want to share? Man. So whatever they bring against him, I already know why. I already know why. Because all the dirt, all the messages, all the information is in his music. That's why in every video I can reference a song according to the topic of the video. And this is alchemy, magic, consciousness, metaphysics. I can mention at least 3 songs per video. Okay, so that's how you know. Right. So there's a choice that you're making. We're saving our yep. Go ahead, level up, tarot. There's a choice. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. And then he was trying to he gave all that money to Africa, USA Africa. All the money from We Are the World sales went to Africa. So whatever, I think Michael gave for the correct reason long ago, before charity was even fashionable, as an example, as to show the way, what you have to do. And no one really followed. No one followed as much. That's why he was in the Guinness Book of World Records for giving the most ever to charity as a celebrity. So no one has beat his record yet. Okay. I mean, no one has beat his record. Right. Where does MJ get all this knowledge from? Well, whenever you ask him that on an interview, he's going to say, from the heavens, from the cosmos, that's what he says. He says, from the heavens. Every time someone asks him, well, where do you get this talent? How do you write these songs? Where do you get your inspiration from? He said, from the heavens. But I'm pretty sure he studied, because he read a lot of books. He had an entire library in his home. So getting back to that, okay, so in one of his concerts, at the end of his concert, he flew up in a rocket booster like an astronaut. What, Sasha?
Oh, hello.
What?
I know this is off topic, but in Beauty and the Beast, you know that you know what the Beast was?
What, baby?
He was 5G.
The Beast was 5G. Why?
Because you know how in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse you said that goat-looking thing was 5G? He has some goat in him. He also has lion.
He was the Beasts. He was that, yeah. But okay, so.
Okay, no, okay, bye.
Wait, come back. I'm trying to expound upon that. And every time went by, a rose petal fell down within a glass container. Rose is the highest vibrating herb or flower.
So that means when he finds true love.
When he finds his love, then he's free.
Yeah, because he has a higher frequency.
Sasha, you are so smart. That's our thing we do when we hear something that connects. What are you saying?
Well, I was going to eat cereal in the pantry anyway. I'm going to just go get
my. Okay. She just blew my mind too. She does it all the time. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he had to control him to do like move time, past time.
Yeah, in the movie, he controlled time too. He had a device that controlled time.
Like Thanos.
Dang, Sasha, you want to come over here and start doing videos? You could do a kid channel and do like I do. Yeah, she stayed home from school today because it was field day.
Yeah.
She don't like field day. She said she ain't gonna be in the field day.
Yeah, I have too much of a high frequency to be wasting it on running and playing games. Unless it's drawing.
She said her frequency is too high for field day. Sasha. Yeah. The wind is so hard over here. Ooh, that's that solar wind coming in.
Yes, solar wind.
All Joel Osteen does is teach Christians the Loa and then put Bible verses. The law of attraction. Yeah. Right. Sasha, don't shake the thing. Just go ahead and get in the chair. Okay. She's too advanced.
Yeah.
She is, because she teaches me. She already makes cartoons, like on the little animated apps, and you know how you can write words. She's already doing like movies, like storylines with alchemy in it, like they do in Hollywood, except with cartoons. Not all of them, because she's, she has to have balance, and balance is important. Yeah, that's another thing. Balance is important when you're raising your frequency, because you got to stay grounded at the same time, as well as being able to go higher, because it's like a tree. You have to have roots in order to grow. You ain't got no roots, you can't grow.
Mama?
Yeah?
Did you tell them about the coffee?
Yeah, I will. So if you don't have any roots, you can't properly grow. If you're not grounded enough, you can't properly grow. If you're trying to rush everything, you can't properly grow. So if you're doing stuff for the wrong reason, you can't properly grow. You know what I'm saying? If you're tricking people and scamming people, you can't properly grow or keep your wealth. Because American greed proves that. Y'all seen that TV show? Eventually, you're going to get caught. The IRS going to get you. The FBI is going to get you. Your friend is going to turn on you. Somebody. You know what I'm saying? So if you're doing things the wrong way for the wrong reason to try to get something quick, take it, scam for it. Unless you flip it and do right with it. Like, okay, we're not going to go into morals here, because if you have a righteous cause for sinning, like Jay-Z says in Lucifer song, if you have a righteous cause in sinning and then you flip it and start doing righteous, you're good. But if you don't start doing righteous with it, if you keep flipping it and doing the wrong because you like the wrong, just let me know when I'm back and I'll continue from there. Stop. It's cutting me off. Okay. Am I back? Am I back for everyone? Someone says no. I thought it was just me. Hi, man. Okay, I'm back. Thank you. Okay. Yay. So I wasn't saying anything except for did y'all hear the part I was talking about Jay-Z selling drugs, and then he stopped and invested into a record label and used that money to create and do better and do good? Okay. So that's an example of doing something wrong in order to do something right. But if you keep doing wrong, it doesn't add up. It's not going to help you in the long run. So That's what I'm speaking of. So if you have to do something wrong in order to right your life and continue on a good path that's going to benefit you, those things are, understandable due to your circumstance. So, but if you keep doing wrong, you don't have a reason to do wrong, and you do it anyway, just because you can get away with it and you want to do it, that's totally different. Your vibration is not as high as the person who's doing right or doing something creative or doing something positive or doing something beneficial, because their reward is not money or getting away with something. Their reward is creating, building, and rising through the correct reason, through the heart chakra. Okay. So if you're not creating and rising through your heart chakra, you haven't built anything at all, because it doesn't have a foundation and it can't rise any higher. Okay. It's a chopped down tree, basically. The burning bush is not a tree. It's a shrub that can be pulled up too quick. Okay. A person who uses the light and the dark will always be more powerful than a person who just uses the dark. Real talk. The burning bush was the name of the church I used to go to. Oh my gosh. Okay. You said, like, to me, that's what the burning bush would represent. It ain't a tree. It has roots, but they're not firm into the ground like a tree. They grow pretty fast, but they don't live as long as trees. Trees are higher. Trees are stronger, and they withstand a lot of things, and they're a more permanent fixture to the earth. So a burning bush is a shrub that couldn't make it to a tree and is burning or suffering in that stunted growth. That's how I see it. And until you can grow deeper roots and become grounded and grow and be patient, do it the correct way for the right reason, the foundation will never be permanent. So that's how I see it. What does it mean to be grounded? It means to have a structure, a foundation to build on. It means taking the long route and doing the hard work, so that it's like the three little pigs. Okay. The one that built the brick house was safe. The one that built the straw house, because he just wanted to hurry up and get in his house and finish his work. Then the one that built the wood house, they weren't as structured or grounded as the brick house. You see? That's what it is. Slow and steady wins the race. Exactly. Someone's singing "She's a Brick House." Yep. She mighty. Right. How to heal another person's chakra. You can't heal anybody's chakra. They have to do it themselves. You see, you could help and assist them by teaching them what they need to do. Like, give for the right reason. Don't have strings attached. Do this, do that. Look up each chakra. And sometimes there's inserts on websites what you can do to strengthen that chakra. And so maybe help assist with strengthening the chakras that they are not able to really access or stop, Sasha, or use correctly. What does it mean when a fellow member of the occult blocked you on the social media? It means you care too much what other people think. That's what that means. Because I don't care if somebody blocks me and they're not paying my bills. I don't care. Okay. Um, Queen, I gotta slide off. Okay. See you later. See, I'll probably be here when you get back, like I always am. Are you done?
Yeah.
Put that in the sink, baby.
Okay.
Thank you. Um, Someone says I'm gonna block you. Oh well. Oh no, I'm gonna go cry for 3 hours. Don't care. So yeah, that's part of being a Martian. You can't care. You said what you want to say. You said what you wanted to say. They blocked you. You face the consequence. You should have known that before before you did whatever you did. But I didn't like if you're gonna say what you're gonna say, you're supposed to be able to deal with the consequences. And after the fact, if they block you, you're not supposed to even care. You're supposed to just keep it moving. Exactly. That's how you strengthen your chakra, your your solar plexus. Um, right. This is off topic, but why do you say tarot cards are evil? What exactly are they? Why do they say tarot cards are evil? What exactly are they? Their knowledge. There are secrets hidden in the symbolism of tarot cards.
Yeah, it's like saying the devil's bad, but actually means smart.
No, you mean demon means genius.
Oh, demon.
Yeah. It means genius.
Oh. I get mixed up.
Yeah, that's okay. You
Like
was on the right. You was on the right
Like
path.
how people get mixed up with God and Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So, right, they're not evil. They're full of knowledge. Just like the tree, some people think the tree in the Garden of Eden was evil, and some people don't think it's evil. But what it did was enlighten and give people knowledge of self and make them more God or goddess-like. So tarot cards are only evil to some people who want to keep knowledge from you, or who are afraid of knowledge, or who obey and don't ask questions. Okay, so tarot is a path. Tarot is a path. If you study and learn what the cards mean, you will become enlightened. Tarot cards are not the main purpose of tarot cards are not to read your future or to see if your ex is going to come back to you. That's not what tarot cards are even for. That's what people made it into. You see, tarot cards are to show you if I continue on my current path, what might the results be? What are the possible results? That's it. So, right. That's how you're supposed to use those cards. If you're using them any other way, you're probably going to be disappointed. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. What does it mean to have a dream, but dream in a dream in the astral traveling, or was it different dimension? It's probably just different levels of consciousness. hmm hmm Your cards get annoyed with you if you ask them stupid questions. So, use them for the right reason. Um, right. Your cards give you attitude. Well, anyway, so just remember, we create our own reality. So be careful on what you're being influenced by, because that also creates reality if you believe it. Because thoughts create reality. So if you think something is true, or if you think something is this, and you're unaware that is a metaphor or a subconscious symbol to create something that you have no idea about. You know what I mean? So, for example, I'm going to use the Mars thing. Some people just tuned in. If they have enough people on the earth to believe that getting to Mars is possible, or they've landed on Mars, and that's possible. Mars represents the ability to be unapologetic for what you say, what you do, your actions, your words, and to be bold with it, and to not care what people think, and and not have to tiptoe around certain things anymore. It's shining no matter what circumstance you're under, being the one that people admire because of your courage and boldness. That will take your place. So if people want to get to Mars, that's basically people of color giving up their shine, giving up their ability to not care and say what they want to say, giving up their courage and all that kind of stuff, and allowing people to also do the same thing, but in reverse. So kind of like Donald Trump. If you want everybody to be like Donald Trump, who's less melanated, then that's what would happen if people believed that living on Mars was possible. So, since we know it's not possible, then we already won. You see how that happens? So you're not supposed to believe that people can live on Mars or the moon. Okay? Right. Mars is within. Mars is your solar plexus as well as the sun. It's your ability to be authentic, be true, say your truth, shine, be bold, and courage. No one can take that from you unless you're tricked or fooled into giving it up mentally. So yelling on Mars, sorry. Next. Somebody said, checkmate. So, when you see all these rockets and stuff going up in the sky, whatever, that's all in vain. All of that is in vain. The only thing a rocket can do is become a missile. Okay? It's all in vain. There's no going to Mars. There's no going to wherever you're trying to get. So all that billions of dollars being spent could have been, look, let me tell y'all something. All those billions of dollars for rockets were spent instead of just giving it to the people that needed it the most. That's when the heart chakra should have kicked in. You know what I'm saying? You're going to spend billions of dollars on an illusion when you could have just helped people and made the world a better place, like Michael Jackson said. But y'all trying to ever not in my consciousness, because you know why? We done figured it out. It's too late. But if one person knows, then everybody knows, because melanin is consciousness and it's connected. So deep down inside, everybody now knows. So all that money could have solved every world problem. Like literally, all that money could have solved every world problem, and we could have shared the planet in peace. Like Michael Jackson said. Okay. So, oh well. You just bought your red suit. The stupid is real. Right. So, the whole point is it's not, they tried it, didn't work. Okay. So now we're good. Right. They only picked Michael to smudge his name. Exactly. Because the messages are very, very right. Important. They would rather die and destroy the whole planet, but that's not going to happen either. Because, okay, so if you read the book of Enoch, The whole planet can't be destroyed. Um, there are frequencies that can stop any type of weapon from even going off. You know what I'm saying? The only way they can do it is to sneak and try to do it, like through poisons and foods. But you'll get a hint and a clue of what not to consume through the videos, through the musicians, through the artists, through the people on your side. You'll get some clues if you're awake. Like, the whole thing with the zombie deer disease and, oh, don't eat meat right now because, what are they putting in it? Um, what is meat killing? What is the killing of those animals doing? Strengthening the prison, the ionosphere. So, to thin it out fast and get rid of it totally, there would have to be a major decrease in feeding it. Right. So listen and pay attention, because the whole war is in your mind and in tricking you to believe certain things and poison, chemical, medical, environmental factors. It's harder to combat those types of weapons with frequency except through knowledge. So knowledge is another way to help, which is why people make videos and teach and tell you how to supplement and tell you what to avoid and all that kind of stuff because they kind of have a heads up, right? So those people that understand and know will probably most likely not be as affected as those who have no clue. hmm They murdered Dr. C because he was teaching health. Oh, yep. Have you checked out Attorney Andrew Project? No, I haven't checked that out. I need to check it out. Huh? Queen, your thoughts on sex magic and energy transmutation? I feel like that's another way to higher consciousness if you're doing it for the correct reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember when I said that everything, like, if your heart chakra is involved in it, you go higher. If your lower chakras are only involved in it, you don't go high. You don't get past the heart chakra. So it has to be love involved for the correct reason. You know what I'm saying? That's the highest one that you'll ever get. Like, so if you're alone, self-love, okay, great. With two people, the frequency is higher. With two people in love, the frequency is highest. So who's going to get the highest? Right? That's why you see all these major artists now that are getting married so that they can get higher. That's why relationship, marriage, as well as alchemical marriage, it all goes together if you want to use that type of magic to reach higher levels of consciousness. Okay. Right. See, y'all heard that. Well, there's always science behind everything and metaphysics behind everything. You just have to put it together and really think about it. And when you're doing, like, if you're sleeping with somebody that you don't love, you don't even know, it may work in reverse to lower your frequency. It may lock down your heart. You know what I mean? Like what happens to a lot of women. So, like, if let's just say a woman got used and the guy ghosted her, didn't call her back, and just used her for sex or whatever. Each time she's used, her heart chakra locks down. And when a heart chakra locks down, she starts doing things for the wrong reason. And when she starts doing things for the wrong reason, then everything gets messed up because she's the mother, you see. And so if she has a child, she's going to teach him wrong or her wrong. And then you're going to have a lot of people walking around with their heart locked down as well, even though they may have melanin. So when you think about it, when you really sit and think about it, if you're going to use someone up, consider that it backfires in the long run, down the line, and eventually everyone's going to be trapped. Everyone. No one's going to be able to rise, you see. And once you consider that, you're trapping yourselves. You're hurting yourselves. You're hurting your offspring. You're hurting the future generations. You're hurting people for the rest of the millennium. You're imprisoning yourselves. And that's also was an agenda, you know. So if you're going to do that, keep that in mind. If people are doing it unconsciously, they don't know any better. You know, they don't know any better. And when you know, you teach. And if they don't understand, then basically it's almost like it's a form of protection. And it's just the same thing as protecting yourself. So many people's heart chakras are shut down because they're only protecting themselves. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. You're also trapping yourself, you see. So if you have a closed heart chakra, now is the time to open it up. And it takes certain people to do that, because I know mine was closed. You know, it takes certain people to pull those heartstrings. That's what they call it. So it could be a friend, it could be a child, it could be someone that you least expect. But when they get to you, they can open it back up. Like a lot of people find their love again when they have a child. Some people don't, you know. And if you keep getting into bad relationships over and over, you're making it worse. So let's say your heart chakra opened back up because you had a child and you love the child. Then you meet someone and they mess with your heart and then it closes again. So you got to be careful with your heart. And if you want to open your heart chakra on your own, self-love is the key. You know, self-love, knowledge, learning what the heart chakra does and how it can trap you. Those are your ways to freedom. You know, those are the type of things you need to be working on. So, you know, anger always comes first. Anger, resentment, punishment, then freedom. Okay, so if you're in one of those phases in your heart, try to remember that that's not a permanent. Okay, it's just a phase. It's just a phase. Now, if you love yourself, like if you practice self-love, which is like doing what's good for you, doing what benefits you, doing what's healthy for you, putting yourself before you, you know, do something for someone else who's not maybe your child. But if you take care of yourself and you put yourself on a certain level and you love yourself no matter what people think, because you've invested so much time, energy, you've sat with yourself, you've been alone with yourself, you've learned to love yourself for who you are, then other people will feel your frequency in your heart start to rise. And when they feel that, it's not very common It's not super common. They will be totally attracted to it because if they don't feel that way 100% yet, they see that you do and they want what you have. They need you to teach them. And once you're vibrating on a high level of self love and someone is attracted to that high level of self love, you can then love them and they can love you in exchange again. And by you loving them, their self-esteem rises, their self-awareness and self-love rises, their heart chakra rises. And so now you have this higher frequency between two people. And that higher frequency is very, very, very hard to break up. Even if somebody messes up, like if you look at all the celebrities who've been cheated on that did not leave their significant other, like Beyonce and Jay-Z, it's because there was love there. And that's what you call unconditional love, when you don't have conditions on it. When the frequency of your heart is so strong with the other person, you can forgive a mistake. Now, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. Either you forgive or you don't forgive and your heart gets locked down again. So these celebrities are alchemists. They understand this. So either you forgive and keep your frequency up. It may go down temporarily, but forgive, keep your frequency up, or get mad, destroy, be angry, and bring it back down. There's another way to do it if you just don't want to be with that person anymore. Forgive them anyway. Part in love. It's hard, but once people figure out why they have to do that, it makes more sense. It sounds corny because, well, he did me wrong in A, B, C, and D, but that locks your heart chakra down, which does not allow you to raise your frequency and get more information. So in order for the love of yourself, you forgive that other person and move forward so that you can grow higher. You see, it's not about being good and nice. It's about self-love, basically. It's about all the work you did on yourself to maintain it. That's all it is. And it's usually, when you part in love and peace, that other person usually regrets it the most later on down the line, because only you're just going to grow higher and higher because you're not locked down through hate and anger. So once you keep moving higher and higher, it's going to make that person look at you a different way. Like, oh my gosh, what did I do? So, right. So I know this is like weird coming from me, especially, but, right. That's why they mess up the love between Black woman and Black man, because it's a trap. That's why they call it trap music. It traps your heart on a lower frequency, and you won't be able to leave or get the new information or the upgrades. That's why in that lifestyle you have drugs, trap music, low frequency, degrading of women, lower nature. And so you get trapped. Your heart stays trapped. So once you start, figuring that out, you can understand the music. You can listen to the music all you want, as long as you understand it. But if you don't understand it, it's tricking your subconscious mind, you see. So you listen to the music, okay, you're being subconsciously programmed. If you know that you're being subconsciously programmed and you can listen to the music, you're studying it from a perspective that doesn't allow it to affect your subconscious mind. So then you start to see the agenda in that particular, music and whatever. So now that you know that, you can tell other people, So It depends on your level of consciousness whether you can listen to trap music or not and enjoy it. So, mhm. So if I'm gonna listen to trap music, I'm like, yeah, oh, okay, this is to lock people's hearts down. Interesting. Too bad it doesn't work on me. Um, and I will not lie. I did have my heart locked down for a while, and but that's the key. The key is having it locked because when you get the key, you can unlock it. It has to be broken. It has to be broken in order for you to unlock it again. Um, and it's like the double-edged sword. Which way will you choose? It's the free will thing. Will you choose to be angry or will you choose to move higher? Right. So now that you know that, you do better and you have no choice because now you know it. Okay. That's why I'm saying y'all better not watch my channel if y'all don't want to change because this channel will make you change. Because, when you learn something, you can't unlearn it. Right. Hmm. Yeah, Adam, I know that song. We made it. Um, you're into soul music and I like Mike and Prince. Good. Those are oh my God, the last Prince album. I think it was the one where he had like the afro and the sunglasses with 3 on it. That one is very, very good. Has a lot of information. What do you think about Barbara March? I don't even know who that is. I'm sorry. I need to look that up, huh? They want the people of color to stay down. Yeah, see, that was part of the battle. When this 5G frequency would come in to create and change DNA and allow you to get your upgrades and affect your chakras in a manner that would make you better. If you're still living in that low frequency and your heart is unable to rise, you won't get the upgrades. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you're in a lifestyle where, you know, because you were programmed to, not like women, use women, or if you're programmed to, do the worst that you can do, not out of protection, but out of brainwashing, because there's two types. Some people do it because they've been hurt. Others do it because they've been trained. There's a difference. So the people that usually have been hurt and do it to protect themselves, most of that is women. They still have the ability to unlock their heart because they do know how to love in the first place. They just shut it down momentarily because it wasn't paying off, because the other side does not know how to love because they've been programmed not to love, you see. So when it comes down to it, people need to learn how to love properly. And to love someone properly, you got to love yourself first. Then you can love other people. That's all it is. So you said trust nobody. Right. How to treat people who are in constant attack mode with you. Don't be around them. Take the higher road, it sounds corny, but it works. It's kind of like neutralizing a situation. What if he's a dusty and super smart and super mental alchemy and knows what should exist? The matrix, how, when, what? Did that even make sense? I gotta go back up. Okay, so what if he knows all this stuff? He don't really know it then. He doesn't understand that the heart chakra is locked down. And if he understands that, then I don't think he would be doing it. So he probably didn't think about it on a deeper level. Mhm. Cosmic chlorophyll. I love your name. Right? Like that. Thank you, self-love first. Exactly. So, when you love yourself and you love others, it's to free you and them, you know. But it is a higher consciousness to understand that fully. You know what I mean? Because we've been so programmed to hate and to fight that we forgot that we were at war spiritually, you know? Um, and that's part of their weapon to lock down your heart chakra because theirs is locked down too. They lock down yours because theirs locked down too. And if yours was not locked down, you would rise a lot higher and a lot faster and be more abundant, you know. So it's up to y'all. um, don't fall in love with someone you know that doesn't love you. You know, if you want to be in a relationship and understand. But when you really want to fall in love with somebody or settle down with somebody that you can love, now falling in love and loving is two different things. If you want to settle down with somebody and grow in love, it's still gonna serve its purpose. You know what I'm saying? It will still serve its purpose to grow in love. You know, when you meet someone who you instantly fall in love with, that might not be so good. You know why? Because that's not love, that's infatuation. And just as powerful and strong as that feeling is, if that person breaks your heart, that's exactly how much it's going to hurt. You see? So that's why I always teach on my other channel. It's important to find someone who likes you a lot, but you may not feel the same way. So if you know someone really likes you a lot, you love yourself and they like you too, there's less chance for heartbreak and locking down of your heart. You see? Unless you choose to be the heartbreaker as a woman or as a man, whatever. So, mhm. What if your parents had lockdown hearts? Well, I think it takes a lot to open hearts again, but I think if you taught them the truth that it is their key to freedom, and it might work, you know. So what did the Bible mean by guard your heart? Guard it against being tampered with, you know, guard it against being manipulated and used by a system that wants to lock it down. Okay. Keep some of your heart so that you always have the key. You can unlock it anytime you choose to. Don't just be one of those people that don't ever choose to use it in the right way. Okay. So, for example, if you're heartbroken right now, the best thing you can do to kind of open it back up is give to other people, help other people. You know what I'm saying? Give charity, give advice, give help in some type of way so that you hold on to yourself. You know, you might be mad at the situation at hand, but your heart chakra can still be activated by doing for others. I think even Napoleon Hill talks about that in one of his books when he says, if you have a problem or if you have an issue or if you're stuck, go help someone else and the answer will come to you. You're going to unlock that heart chakra and be able to rise up here. So instead of sitting in anger and making your heart lock down even further, you go out and assist and help other people and heal other people by talking to them about whatever. And sometimes by teaching, the answer comes to you as well. Because when you start teaching, like when I do these videos, sometimes I channel information that I didn't even research, and it just comes through, and it ends up being true because in the back of my mind, I probably already read it but it connects with other things, and I can connect the dots. So it's almost like, and also when you do something you absolutely love, when you have a career you love, when you have a skill that you love to do, that also opens up your heart chakra. So a lot of people don't have time to do something that they love because they're too busy working. So again, they're trying to cut you off from your passions as well, which is very important that you keep doing creative things that you love that help your heart chakra stay open so that you can evolve faster spiritually. Hmm. Right. Go to my channel, Warns about the reptilians. Right. So intentions have to be pure. Exactly. When I tried to help people when I was down, they got even more burned out, and I was confused by that. Then you got even more burned out. You weren't helping for the right reason. Um, when I say help, help people you don't know. Then you don't get burnt out. Okay. Help people that don't know you and you don't know them. You know what I mean? Or help people that aren't so close to you because that's draining. Help people at a distance. That way you're doing it for the right reason. And don't help them because you think it's going to help you. That's the wrong thing to do. Help people because you understand that you don't want your heart locked up and you're doing this out of self love so that you maintain your ability to love still. It's not like you don't want to punish the next person you come in contact with or punish yourself by locking your love down. So it's almost like, okay, well, I can't feel good about love at this time, so I'm going to try a different type of love. That's all it is. Um, so yeah, that's all it is. But if you stay in the negative type of love situation too long, it can lock your heart down a very long time, and it's going to be harder to unlock it. So if you've been heartbroken, the best thing to do is figure out the lessons that you learned and how you became better as a person and how that created the alchemy of who you are today. And then forgive and be thankful that you learned that lesson and grew, and your heart chakra will start to open up again. Okay. Hmm. It is easier to manifest when your heart is open. It's true. Yeah. And it's very easy to love children. It's very easy to open your heart up to kids because they're innocent and they don't want anything from you but just to be in your presence and to make you happy. So I'm around my kids all the time and they make me smile, they make me laugh, they make me happy. My heart chakra is open and I can get so much more because I'm happy and no one is doing things for the wrong reason. And they're constantly making me smile and laugh and doing silly things that adults just don't do, you know. If I was around a bunch of coworkers all day, I don't think I would be as knowledgeable as I am. If I'm not around a bunch of if I'm around a bunch of old farts all day, I'm not going to feel any type of way in my heart, you know. So I think being around a lot of things that make you happy, things that open your heart chakra, keeps you growing, you know, keeps you inspired, keeps you loving, and always not turning your heart cold towards everything because then you remember, oh, you know, my kids, you know, they're so funny. Da, da, da. As soon as you get around a kid, your heart opens right back up, you know? Um, yeah. That's why whenever you see the Madonna and Child, that is how you open your heart chakra. You see Jesus holding his heart, it can't get nowhere. And then they show you Mary and Jesus when he was a child. And that image is supposed to open your heart. The other image of Jesus shows that it's locked down. So through children, through the love of child, through the sacrificing the love of your child or other nephews, nieces, or whatever, your heart chakra can open up. That's your key to freedom, your children, you know. So if you don't have a love interest in your life, if your marriage ain't all that, focus on your kids. Y'all remember in Eve's Bayou when that lady went to go see that fortune teller, and she was like, "When am I going to be happy again?" Because her heart was broken because her husband cheated on her. She was like, "When am I gonna be happy again?" And she said, "In this month's time, you will be happy. Look to your children." She said, "Look to your children." And so that's all she would tell her was look to your children. In this month's time, in this many months, you will be happiness. You will have happiness. But for now, look to your children. That means keep your heart chakra open. And that's when the time that she gave her that she would be happy again is when her husband died. Ah. Anyway, so because that wasn't her heart anymore, that had become her children. She couldn't forgive him, you see. So she had to focus on her children, and then he died. That's kind of messed up, but hey, that was the movie. I didn't write it. Your kids are the best. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. So now that you know this, maybe decisions will change, how we treat people will change, and our frequency will rise above what it was programmed to not rise as. You know what I'm saying? Um, mhm. If you have no children, self love, right? If you have no children, um, I would say animals are the next best thing. Pets, cats, something that does not want anything from you but your love. You know what I'm saying? So I remember when I was younger, I had a cat, and pets are also a way to keep your heart chakra open because you can love a pet, you know. So I like cats. So can't really love a fish or a bird, but something physical like, mammals. I mean, if you think about it, um, if you're really smart and advanced and you know all this information, you're going to use it to your advantage. You're going to use it to rise higher in consciousness. I mean, okay, so let's go back to Michael Jackson since all this allegations are coming out. What did he do when he first got Neverland? He went and bought a bunch of animals, right? He went and got a giraffe, some llamas. He even had a cat. He had Bubbles, which was like I guess his child. Then Bubbles got too old. He started throwing stuff and becoming violent. So they had to free Bubbles or send him to the monkey farm or whatever, the chimpanzee farm. Okay. Michael, his career kind of wouldn't allow him to be the type of father, and maybe he didn't want to repeat his father's legacy or whatever. So maybe he then you would always see his niece and nephews around. As he got smarter, wiser, and more conscious, he understood the ability for children to keep your heart chakra open. But he wasn't ready to have children. And then and also he feared if he did have a child, like um, biologically, that that child would be stalked, hounded, targeted because he did have a child and he kept that child a secret, you see. And in order to keep a child a secret, you cannot really be too much around. You know what I mean? So once um, he decided, okay, well, I'm going to have some kids now, whatever, whatever. But I don't want to have biological children. So I'll create like Inky did. Y'all, I told you it's deep. I'll create some children through genetic engineering. Now, I'm not trying to be evil or rude, but I'm just connecting the dots. Just think about it. The creators created Adam and Eve, right? Um, and they were without melanin in the beginning. Then they got melanin later. But so though, yeah, those children that weren't quite like him, but were versions of him, but were genetically created through, you know, in vitro and all that kind of stuff with somebody else's, So that was also to connect him to a source of like a creator geneticist or Inky or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. Okay. His real son grew up, I think it's in Miami. B. Howard, Mickey Howard's son. And B. Howard was Michael Jackson's real son. But he grew up in hiding so they wouldn't mess with him. Janet Jackson also had a daughter that grew up in hiding as her niece, you know. So it's true because they knew how powerful this man was and what he was going to become. Plus, remember, he bought the Beatles catalog. So he was scared for his own children. That's why he even shrouded his Paris and Michael in blanket so that people couldn't see their face. He made them wear masks and stuff because he was concerned about protection because he knew that they were trying to get him. He was the most sued celebrity in history. He was, because people were trying to get his money and trying to destroy him. Even after death, they're still trying to get a piece of his estate because he owns so many artists' masters. But to me, he just got even for the record companies taking advantages of, Black artists and trying to keep them under contract and keep their masters. So he beat them at their own game. And he also, made sure that they were unable to do anything to him after the fact. So he was a super genius. Y'all see Kanye is genius. Imagine Michael Jackson. He's probably 10 times the genius of Kanye in business and in music and in everything. So understanding that will open your eyes to more than just what people have been paid to say about him. So for me, I understand it on a deeper level, which makes me understand why they're doing it. Their heart chakra can't rise because of what they did to him. And their heart chakra can't rise because he already was the example. So their attempt to raise their heart chakra by doing these things have already been outdone by Michael Jackson. They can't top that. Not even the Catholic Church can top it. You see what I'm saying? So if you're Bill Gates, if you're Oprah, if you're fashion designers, if you're corporation, if you're the government, you cannot outshine the humanitarianism that Michael did. They can't do it. You see, so if you can be the highest humanitarian in the world history, in the Guinness Book of World History, number one artist, entertainer, album sales in world history, own Elvis's and the Beatles catalogs, who you said was the best and was king of nothing, obviously. If you own all of that, they're going to try to take it from you for the rest of their lives until they get it, and they will never get it. Because when you fake your death, that's why they can't get it, because he's not really dead. You see, this is where the law kicks in. If you're really dead, people can get and own certain things, right? Like property. As soon as you die, you're supposed to take that deceased person's name off the deed, off the contract. Okay? That is the law. His name is still on one of his properties, on the deed. And the name on the death certificate is not his birth name. It's not his birth name. Okay? His birth name is Michael Joe, Joe, Jackson. He has Michael Joseph Jackson on his death certificate, which means, and he also used Michael Joseph Jackson as his stage name, his business name, not his birth name. So when you're an entertainer, you have two names. Like Lady Gaga, her real name is Stephanie. Michael was smart when he chose his stage name. Y'all, he's a genius. Well, I'm going to keep my stage name. I'm just going to change my middle name to Joseph. Something very small and minute. That's the loophole right there. So since he changed his name to Michael Joseph Jackson, when the news kept telling you guys, Michael Joseph Jackson has died, that doesn't mean Michael Joe Jackson died. Okay? Which is why that estate, that property, and all his money can't go anywhere unless someone attempts to sue the estate, right? They're going to sue a dead man because, that's what the estate is under. And by law, your birth name owns your stage name. You see? And if your stage name is dead, then you can't sue a dead person. You see? That's it. He got them. And if you notice, exactly 7 years later, Prince did the same thing because they were trying to get his masters. Warner Brothers was trying to get Prince's masters as well. They kept taking him to court over his original music. That's why Prince got online. He was one of the first artists to sell music online and start selling his own music under his own label because Warner Brothers wanted all his old masters and to keep working for them. So he was like, I'm out. I'm not even going to try to do that anymore. I'm going to do my own thing. That's why he had slave written on his face. Okay. So the only way to free yourself from being chased around, hunted, hounded, sued for the rest of your life, lied on, is to fake your death. And it is legal to fake your death if you have a residence in Las Vegas and if your life has been seriously threatened 2 times or more, and you can prove this to the courts, then it's kind of like the witness protection program. Then they will allow you to go ahead and fake your death if you have good reason. Now, there's crazy people out there that have threatened probably those celebrities, probably have threatened Kanye, probably have threatened Prince and Michael Jackson many, many, many times. If you have physical proof of that, depending on who, the judge is or whatever, they may allow you to go ahead and fake your death for your own safety. They do it all the time in the witness protection program. Okay. So as long as you have the residence in Nevada, which Michael Jackson did, which Prince did. Okay. So if you see Kanye going to Las Vegas or having a residency there or even renting a hotel for a certain amount of time counts as a residency. If you're receiving mail there, that's it. That's all you got to do. It's that easy. And, the reason I know a lot of this stuff is true because y'all remember I was a mortician and his death certificate is all online. Now, who puts a death certificate all online? That thing is totally filled out wrong. It would be voided. If I try to take that up to the vital statistics to file as a completed death certificate, they would give it back to me and said, this is not going to make it. Okay. So the whole thing is null and void. It's not real. Okay. I used to file death certificates, 20 death certificates a day. I had to type them. I know what flies and what doesn't fly. I went to school for that. I have a degree in funeral directing and embalming science. So I already saw that a long time ago. And okay, so how did they find Prince? Prince was in an elevator. Y'all remember his song? I'm not gonna let the elevator bring us down. Oh no, let's go. Let's go crazy. Let's get nuts. So, and then at a concert at his house, because he threw parties and did concerts, he said, don't cry for me yet. Give it a few days. And then in a few days, what did they do? They found him in the elevator. Okay. And before he died, he gave Tidal, aka Jay-Z, the rights to stream his music only. Only Jay-Z got the rights to stream his music. Now, how did he know he was getting ready to die? Why would he go and give his rights to Jay-Z real quick, a month before? You know what I'm saying? And then he made sure that TMZ saw him walk into CVS and fill a prescription and walk out and get into his truck. Now, if you're Prince, do you go to CVS and walk in and get your own prescription and then walk back out? Or do you get your assistant to do that? Or do you go through the drive-through? You know what I'm saying? It was done on purpose to make you think. It was the illusion that was set up to make you think this. Okay. So if you don't believe it, you're not seeing with the correct eyes. If you do believe it, that also works for their advantage so that people really think he's dead. So either way, it's good. It doesn't matter what you believe, if they're dead or not. They pulled it off because if no one thought that they were dead, you couldn't pull it off. Okay. They tried to do that with Paul McCartney, but nobody cared enough or believed that he was really dead, and then he came back like the next weekend and said, oh, it was a hoax. If y'all look it up, just look up Paul McCartney death hoax. Nobody cared enough to make it work, just like in the Mandela effects, a lot of people say, oh, well, that person died. Oh, no, they didn't. I thought they died. I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't care enough. Right. A lot of people thought Macaulay Culkin was dead for the longest. I thought he was dead. Didn't he die? Oh, no, that was a hoax. Oh, well, I didn't really care enough to look into it anymore after that. So when you take the most loved and most famous person in the world and they die, you're going to change the entire frequency of the planet. You're going to open everyone's heart chakra. You see, that's what he did. That's why they hate him. Because the day that MJ died, the entire world mourn. The internet broke. He broke the internet. The entire world went out and printed giant flags of his face. Paris was waving flags everywhere in front of the Eiffel Tower, and people were screaming and crying. And Asia, South America, North America, Africa, everybody was mourning at the same time. Their heart chakras were opening back up from what the agenda had prior. You know, the agenda had prior, given subliminal messages to close it. Then it opened back up and the frequency shifted on the planet. Okay. Then people started waking up. Many people woke up in 2009 and started researching and learning and stuff like that because they were told that the Illuminati killed him. Now, if you're told the Illuminati killed someone, what are you going to do? You're going to go research the Illuminati, which will lead you into the occult, which will lead you to knowledge, your knowledge. You see? You see the trick? So, that's how you do it. That's pure genius. Okay. There. Please explain empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is when you feel sorry for someone. Empathy is when you feel their pain. Instead of just feeling sorry for their situation, you actually feel their pain. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She said he was killed by the Illuminati, so you can go research the Illuminati, so that you can research the occult, so that you can understand who the Illuminati is and how they stole the knowledge and how you can take it back. That all leads down a road. Okay. It all leads down a road. That's exactly why they keep saying, oh, he was killed by the Illuminati. So you could go and research it. If you care enough for the living, if you cared enough for Michael Jackson, you would have researched, because you would want to know, well, why would the Illuminati want to kill them? Then you would do your research. Your research would begin. You wouldn't accept it and go on to your Taco Bell job. You would say, okay, well, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. If your love was true, or if you really were just curious about his death, you would go and research it. You wouldn't just like, oh, well, he died, cry. Let me go back to work. So a lot of people were awakened through his death because they kept researching and researching and researching and trying to figure out what happened. And once they got on that path, the knowledge was so great, they just kept going and kept going until they got so much knowledge. And it led them to that path of enlightenment, on that journey of knowledge of self and all that kind of stuff. So now they're trying to reverse it. They're trying to get the music taken down. They're trying to get all that money back. They're trying to get all those masters of Elvis and the Beatles back. They're trying to get all of that stuff back from this state. So if you really follow the money and you follow the message and you follow the heart chakras opening at that time, you'll understand that Michael Jackson messed up their entire agenda and it backfired. Everything that they were working so hard for backfired on them. So that's why when you see when you see that video Thriller, when he looks back and starts laughing, he got them in the end, and they can't do anything about it. Okay. So, that's why I like him, because he is a super genius. Okay. I admire his intelligence. He was the greatest entertainer, but his genius was even better. Smooth criminal. Right? Right. So that's why you have to open your eyes when you look at things and not just take what people tell you and accept it. You need to look deeper. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if you're one of those people that fall for anything, it's because you don't stand for anything. And when I say stand for anything, it means the truth. If you don't stand for the truth, or to get to the bottom of something, or to get to the source of something, you just take it and okay, whatever, you know. So those type of people are easily manipulated. We got those. The people that are trying to lower people's heart chakras and frequency. Oh, we got those people. They're stupid. They don't do any research. They'll believe whatever we put that stuff out. They're awakening up too much, but there's some people that still, this kind of stuff triggers them and takes them right back down low. So get them, you know. Right. Mhm. So you said Oprah's a double agent, but remember, okay. Now here's the kicker. Okay, this gonna blow your mind right here. Y'all ready? The entire thing is being orchestrated for the greater good. So the people who think that they're working against us are really working for us, but they don't know. Each step does not hurt us, it only makes us stronger if we seek truth. You see? So at the same time, it's separating those who don't seek truth from those who do seek truth. It's empowering those who seek truth even further, which then becomes someone else's um, influencer. So they're creating more influencers that understand what's going on so that they can teach the people who don't understand. So when they do stuff like that and people like me see and other people don't, I can take it upon myself to teach those people who don't and take them back from the agenda. You see? So um that's what's working in our favor. So you might not like this person or that person's music or them as an artist, but if you like me, you'll listen to me and understand what I'm saying, and then your understanding will come. You know what I mean? So just for that reason, it backfires. You see, because you might not care about Michael, but if your boyfriend that you love so much that you want to marry does, you're going to start taking his perspective because of love, or because you like someone, or because you um, resonate with someone. You'll listen to them, you know? So it all backfires. Like I said, we already won. It's over. If you listen to that Kanye West and Jay-Z Swiss Beats um, remix of Power, it's a song. You have to look it up online. It's not on YouTube anymore. Just type it in on Google. Power remix with Swiss Beats, Jay-Z and Kanye. The very last thing that he says is, it's burnt up already. It's over. It means it's already done. This is it. It's done. So in the song, it's very, very esoteric, the lyrics. You got to break them down. So I'll let y'all do that. Right. Thank you for those who are listening and understanding. And it's everyone's free will to decide what they want to believe or not to believe. But I'm just giving you the information. How come MJ had white children knowing how important melanin is? It goes back to the story of Adam and Eve. Also, as the story of Enki. Genetic scientists that created Adam and Eve created them with no melanin at first, and they stayed in the Garden of Eden. Then, when they ate of the tree of good and evil, they realized they were naked. And back then, it means they didn't have no melanin. They were naked, so they took leaves to cover them. Now, leaves are another symbol for melanin because it has the chlorophyll, which is plant melanin. And once they realized, yeah, so it was to connect him to those stories of God, Inky, um, the Garden of Eden. It was to connect him to the divine. You see, so everything he did was for that reason. Sorry, got cut off. It was for that divine reason. Everything he did connected him to the divine. A lot of the colors that he wore connected him to Archangel Michael. A lot of the paintings that he had in his home connected him to certain deities. He made sure to leave the trail. You understand? So that's why he did it. And then his whole skin lightening thing. The punishment of a fallen angel is to lose their melanin. He stayed behind, like Lucifer and the fallen angels were not allowed to leave the planet anymore. And how do you do that? You take the melanin. So if he stayed behind in order to teach and redeem himself and help other people and help humanity rise in their consciousness, that was his sacrifice, you see. So if you take his story and line it up to all the other stories of certain deities, the fallen angels, Inky, Lucifer, Jesus. If you line up all Archangel Michael, all his stories line up to each and every deity. Why? Because that's what each and every deity is. A shapeshifter, a different version of each other. It's you. And for you to figure that out will free you. You know what I'm saying? So, right. It's a genius. He took the effort to do that in everything because he was leaving behind the information for you, just like the ancient Egyptians did. They didn't have to draw that stuff on the pyramids. They didn't have to do all of that. They didn't have to put anything down there. That stuff took time. That was a lifetime's work that was passed on from generation to generation, from artist to artist, to carve all those hieroglyphs, carve all that stuff. That's exactly what he did. That's what these artists are doing with their videos and their music and their lyrics. They're leaving you the information. So just like when archaeologists went into the Great Pyramids and tried to lie to the entire world about who the Egyptians were and who did this and who did that, when people started getting their own mind to go and visit and take photos of the hieroglyphs and start to interpret it on their own, they found the truth. They didn't just take what somebody wrote in a book and called it a day. No, they went and got the real information and then went and taught it to other people, because a lot of these archaeologists lied. So once you figure that out, they're still hiding stuff to this day. They still won't allow you to take certain pictures of certain things, But to this day, there are still secrets hidden that you don't even know because they don't want you to figure it out. But it's all going to come out. It's all going to come out. It's coming out right now. Okay. So just keep that in your mind. The only way to really beat someone or to top someone is mentally. That's why Michael Jackson could never be beaten, because he was always mentally above anyone he was dealing with. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. That's why nobody can get his money. No one can get his estate. No one can sue him. No one can make him guilty. No one can do anything because he's already fixed it so that they can't. They can try, but they can't. Mm-hmm. So now that you understand his role, seems like the world's got a role for me. I'm so confused. Would you show it to me? You'll be there for me and care enough to bear me. So that means he has a role. That means you have to look deeper. Bear with him. Understand what's happening. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't care what you believe. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. It works either way. That's the genius of it. It works either way. It's probably good that a lot of people don't believe that way. Nobody goes investigating that. Um, so that's why it's genius, because it works both ways. Yeah, eventually everybody dies. Right. Most alchemists fake their death. If you go back into the history of alchemy, you'll see that a lot of philosophers in alchemy actually fake their death. It's part of the great work so that you can leave the physical world and the material world to focus on your higher journey in spirituality. Okay. So once you realize that, it'll all fall together, it'll all work out. Yeah. Thoth did it. Yep. A lot of Nicholas Flamel did it. You said Bobby Hemmett faked his death in a way. Anyway, he gave it and he was done. Once you give your all, you're done. Once you give people the truth in 1,000+ ways, you can't do anymore. It's over. Either they get it or they don't. I gotta go, but thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. The Hennessy commercial is Return of the Gods, the need for melanin, and the changing earth. That's all that is. And then the wheel. It shows the wheel painting America. Okay. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.